Hi lovelies! So summer is here, the sun is shining, at least where I am, and that means I am not really feeling like spending a whole lot of time in the kitchen baking. That being said, I am feeling like spending a whole lot of time eating delicious, fresh summer desserts. So today, I'm actually sharing 3 super simple 5-ingredient dessert recipes that all celebrate the best flavors of summer. Starting with these amazing strawberries and cream puff pastry stacks. You're not gonna believe how easy these are to put together, but they look so adorable. I am starting with some store-bought puff pastry dough. I am not trying to be a hero here. We really want to keep things as simple as possible in the summer, and store-bought puff pastry is where it is at. You can usually find this frozen at your supermarket. You let it thaw overnight in your fridge, and then it is ready to be used. All I'm going to do is lay it out on a cutting board and then use a pizza cutter to cut it into equal size squares. I'm going to arrange them on parchment lined baking sheets and then get these into the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for between 6 and 8 minutes. Usually that's all it takes for them to get nice and puffy and nice and golden on the exterior. In the meantime, while my puff pastry is cooking away, I'm going to whip up some really simple homemade whipped cream. Now, of course, we could use store-bought whipped cream or even some Cool Whip here. Both would totally work, but I'm gonna go for it and make my own homemade whipped cream because it's really easy to do and I think it tastes the best. I have got some whipping cream in my bowl. To that, I'm just gonna add some powdered sugar. Then I'm just going to use my hand mixer to beat it until it's nice and light and fluffy, and then it will be time to bring this all together. There you go. If I don't stop whipping this, we are going to end up with butter. What you have is delicious homemade whipped cream. So good. Once my puff pastry squares have cooled completely, I'm simply going to place one on a plate, top it with some of my homemade whipped cream and some chopped strawberries. I'll just top that with another of my puff pastry squares and then finish this off with a little more powdered sugar on top. How amazing does this dessert look? Impressive enough for a summer dinner party, but literally comes together in 15 minutes or less. If you can believe it, our next dessert is even simpler than our first. We're making some incredibly yummy blueberry tarts. Of course, there are loads of blueberries available at the supermarket right now and at the local farmer's market, and this is a great way to enjoy them. To make my blueberry filling, I'm just going to be combining some beautiful blueberries with a little bit of sugar, some cornstarch, and the zest and juice of half a lemon. And it's actually just that simple. You're going to give your blueberries a quick toss, and then we are going to pile them into some pre-made tart shells. These can also be found in the freezer aisle at your supermarket. I just like to pile my blueberry filling into each. I'll get these into the oven at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for between 22 and 25 minutes. During that time, those blueberries will start to burst and mix with that cornstarch to create this really amazing jammy filling that is so delicious. And that lemon juice adds a little bit of tartness to those tarts, I would say. So this last recipe was shared with me a few years ago by a very dear friend of mine who's actually a world-class barbecue champion named Diva Q. This woman has more awards than you can even imagine, and they're all for her amazing grilling prowess. But she was the first person who ever showed me how to grill cake. And let me tell you, once you have grilled cake, you will never go back. Yes, it is just as delicious as it sounds. It all starts with a store-bought angel food cake. If you wanted to make your own, you could, but trust me, store-bought in this case is definitely the way to go as far as I'm concerned. We are just going to use a nice serrated knife to cut our cake into slices. You want your slices to be substantial enough to hold up on the grill, so about that thick. Once we've got our cake sliced up, we are actually going to be taking a little bit of melted butter on a pastry brush, and we are going to brush some on all of the exposed sides. This is going to help the cake get nice and golden while it's on the grill. Next, we are going to fire up the grill. Of course, you could do this outside on the barbecue if you wanted to, or you can use a grilled pan like I'm using today. Now, just before we get our cake on the grill, I'm actually going to start by grilling up my accompaniment for this yumminess, some pineapple rings. I don't know if you guys know this, but some serious magic happens when pineapple is grilled. It's such a show-stopping dessert, but it is so simple to make. I'm going to cook it until it's developed really beautiful char marks on both sides. Then I'll remove it from the grill and get my cake on. Now I should mention that when Diva Q makes this recipe, she actually soaks her pineapple rings in a little bit of rum first. And I will tell you, it's pretty delicious. So it's absolutely your call. Now, it is important to note that angel food cake is made primarily of sugar, and sugar burns very quickly and very easily. So you're only going to need to have your cake on the grill for maybe a minute, 2 at the absolute max. You can flip it, grill it on its second side, and then get it off of there, because otherwise what you're going to end up with is burnt angel food cake, and that's not exactly what we're going for. Now, I love serving this up with a little of that whipped cream and some toasted coconut, and oh my gosh, guys, seriously. You have to try it. It will blow your mind. In fact, I would argue that all 3 of these delicious recipes will blow your mind in just 5 ingredients or less. If you do give them a try, I hope you will tweet me, Instagram me, or Facebook me a photo, because I always love seeing your kitchen creations. Keep in mind, all 3 of these tasty recipes are linked in the description box below. And finally, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because there is lots more deliciousness where this came from.